The Fantastic Four, huh? Yes, John, Paul, George, and Ringo. That's the Fab Four and also a joke from the opening of Sister Act. Oh, you mean Stretch Dude, Clobber Guy, Invisigirl, and the Flamer. Kinda. What about Dr. Doom? Well, he's got a lot of money and he invents things like weapons and stuff and wears power armor. That sounds a lot like Iron Man. He also invented a league of robots called Doombots that protect his people in Latveria. Like Iron Man was trying to do in the Age of Ultron. Yeah. Well, but he also studied magic and has an aptitude that's almost on par with Doctor Strange. So it's like Iron Man meets Doctor Strange put together. Yes, Robert Dunderbatch. Benedict Robberowny Jr. Robbernict Dumberbatchy. I'm worried about Avengers Doomsday. Yeah. Me too. Me too.
That's how you get ants.
Marvel's first family debuted in November of 1961. Created by comic book legends Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, the Fantastic Four was one of Marvel's most successful endeavors, an attempt to rival DC's incredibly popular Justice League of America. What sets Marvel apart from DC is that Marvel heroes are people with extraordinary abilities, while DC heroes are extraordinary beings trying to be people. Marvel's heroes felt more, well, I hate to say the word grounded about a kid who was bitten by a radioactive spider, but why does that seem more approachable than a guy who can fly because, sunlight? Fantastic Four kicked off the Marvel method, where Stan Lee wrote an outline, Jack Kirby fleshed out the action, and Lee filled in the dialogue. The witty repartee like Flame On and Excelsior. Roger Corman attempted to make a low-budget Fantastic Four movie in 1994. It was shot and edited, even seeing a trailer, but it was never officially released. It was mostly a play for rights. Even though there are rumors you can find it online, it never had an official release, so it won't end up on this show. No, today we find anything nice to say about 2005's Fantastic Four. 2005's Fantastic Four sees the titular heroes getting their powers, then trying to cure them, then having to fight Victor Von Doom, who doesn't want to give up his powers, then coming to the realization that maybe the powers are a good thing and should be used to help people. The only reason they're searching for a cure is because Ben Grimm has turned into a giant rock creature who everyone treats like a monster. Everyone else's powers are pretty awesome and can turn on and off, so really, we're just trying to fix the thing. As we all know from Deadpool and Wolverine, Chris Evans' cast as Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch, is arguably a better role for him than Captain America. He is the perfect Johnny Storm, part thrill seeker, part asshole. He and Michael Chiklis' Ben Grimm have great on-screen chemistry. But when the cosmic storm is coming and Grimm is outside, you see Johnny switch to someone who actually cares. His ribbing is all in good fun, but when the poop hits the fan, he stays to get the job done. Actually, like a lot of Marvel movies, this one has a pretty solid cast. Ioan Gruffudd looks like the perfect Reed Richards. Jessica Alba was hot at the time, an A-lister. And Julian McMahon was coming off the success of Nip Tuck and Charmed. I mean, we can call Charmed a success, I guess. It ran for 5 years. Well, whatever. A big part of this movie was Julian being handsome and turning into a monster, right? He's good at that. The Doom mask comes in as a gift from Latveria for Victor's humanitarian efforts. If I ever get an award for my humanitarian efforts, I hope it also comes in the form of a terrifying metal death mask. Even though Latveria and Doom's connection to it isn't explored very much in this movie, they brought in a lot of Eastern Bloc Soviet-style imagery that seems to be the Doom aesthetic. They're giving out Easter eggs from the beginning of the film with a giant statue of Doom being assembled in the foyer of his building. They make him more of a stereotypical capitalist bad guy, which is kind of boring and disappointing, but at the same time, I think Marvel was trying to make things a little bit more approachable or realistic. Kerry Washington shows up as Alicia Masters, the blind woman who becomes the Thing's love interest after his fiancé dumps him for being a big pile of rocks. Hamish Linklater is Doom's assistant, and he has gone on to be in literally everything. No, it just feels like he has. The graphics are decent, the rubber suit is tolerable, the story is simple, some of the jokes aren't cringeworthy, the action sequences are fun, the runtime is a manageable 1 hour and 46 minutes, so it doesn't feel like it's a half hour too long. That's all for this episode of Anything Nice to Say. Remember to always shield yourself from cosmic storms and never be ashamed to like what you like. What? Like 5 more minutes? It's fine. Can't things just be fine? All right, we'll dig deeper. On Rotten Tomatoes, Fantastic Four has a 28% approval rating. It won the Stinker Award for Worst Screenplay for a film grossing over $100 million, and Jessica Alba was nominated for a Razzie as Worst Actress. It's an origin story. It feels like an origin story. Because of the poor reception of this movie, it feels like Marvel has done away with origins being the main part of the film. Iron Man leans heavy into the origin side, but Marvel had to update his story to fit into the modern day. Not to mention the fact that Iron Man wasn't the money-making A-list Marvel character that other properties like X-Men and Spider-Man were. Ant-Man is a heist movie. Captain America tries to get to the World War stuff pretty fast. Thor is just Thor, and we're supposed to pretend like Edward Norton's Incredible Hulk did and did not happen. We don't need to see Spider-Man get bitten again. We don't need to see Martha Wayne's pearl necklace hit the ground time after time after time after time. Fantastic Four spends more time exploring Sue and Reed's failed relationship, having Johnny harass Ben. It follows the team as they isolate themselves from the population rather than exposing their powers to the world. It's about them learning to get along with each other as much as their superpowers. If you're called Marvel's first family, you should spend a lot of time with the family. Look at the Avengers. There are plenty of similarities in that movie. Like Reed, Tony and Bruce are sciencing. The team is isolated on the helicarrier or the Baxter building. Bickering, infighting, power dynamics are all an issue. So why is Avengers better? I don't know. Maybe it moves faster. Maybe the stakes are higher. In both adaptations of the Fantastic Four, we'll get to Fan Four Stick before First Steps, I promise. Dr. Doom is a part of the crew before they get changed. He is one of them, the missing team member. Except he's not. There's a perfection in teams of 4. I talked about this in my review of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We have the brain, Reed, the heart, Sue, the libido, Johnny, and the muscle, the Thing. All of these pieces are in a struggle for balance, and you learn why. When Reed's guilt drives him to test the magic cure machine before it's ready, he's rescued by his heart. When the team thinks it's best to isolate, it's the impulsive Johnny who shows them they can actually do work in the world. In this version of the film, Doom was about to ask Sue to marry him. After they get back from the accident, she goes back to Reed. Doom was never really connected to his heart. As the movie goes on, he loses control. He has no balance. He's all greed, anger, and revenge, all impulse with nothing to balance him out. On the one hand, this allows him to embrace his cosmic space cloud changes faster than the others. On the other, it makes him arrogant, which leads to his downfall. The core of team movies is seeing them work as a team, seeing them balance out their differences. As a trial run for the Avengers, Fantastic Four was a good start. Was creating a character-driven Fantastic Four movie too heavy of a lift? Maybe, but that's actually the heartbeat of Marvel's charm. We love the Avengers. We love the Guardians of the Galaxy. We love Wolverine's tragedy and the fact that a bunch of wide-eyed mutant children are there to smooth the rough edges of his gruff exterior. And it should be noted that Stan Lee, while not caring for Doom, loved the way the 2005 Fantastic Four team turned out, saying, "I believe they captured the spirit and intent of all the characters. And if it's good enough for Stan, and if it's good enough for Stan, I guess it's good enough for me." That's all for this episode of Anything Nice to Say. Don't be afraid to face the cosmic storm and never be ashamed to like what you like. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Do the same things that those are over on Rumble. If you have a movie about which you would like me to find anything nice to say, drop it in the comments. Dumberbatchy.